Hello and welcome to episode 136 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, we increase the size of our crafting CPUs, craft a Sword of the Cosmos and create a mana tablet, obtain a Ring of Loki, and start upgrading machines by literally parallelizing player input. That's wild. Today, we begin the grind for making a Compact 5. I can pretty much make the fusion casings already, but the coils are going to be very expensive. To help with that, I've planned a few infrastructure upgrades that I want to do today. First of all, I need to make my CPUs bigger and also make more of them bigger, which means I'm going to dig out a nice cute little graveyard for all the employees, basically. Second, I want to make a pattern optimization matrix. This will allow me to very quickly and easily multiply out my patterns so that it's fewer steps, which means putting items into machines will no longer be a bottleneck. And also, if you look closely in the intro, I have just finished making my first ULV wireless energy hatch. Wait a minute, ULV? That's right, ULV. I need to make them all in order to unlock them. The ULV one is used in the scan for the LV one, which is then scanned for MV, which is scanned for HV, and so on. So I'm gonna make probably UIV ones if I can. Maybe I can't because this needs the UXV circuits, which are the quantum circuits. That's a little too expensive, but I could go all the way to UEV wireless energy pretty easily. None of these things are particularly expensive. The circuit is kind of the worst part. And I think they're all UMV crafting recipes in the assembly line, so making these is no problem. And I want to make these because it would make upgrading things around the base a lot easier. I could get rid of quite a few LSCs. I could get rid of quite a bit of cabling spaghetti. It would just be really nice. So I'm going to continue working on those things. And of course, I will continue working on the fusion parts. All right, major AE2 crafting upgrade. I've interred more employees into their final resting places. They are all 128 megabytes each with 128 coprocessors, except for Cringy and Cairo, who are twice as big. If you know, you know. But yeah, this looks pretty nice. I like this a lot. And if you're wondering how I did the names like this, there is an advanced information panel here set to transparent mode. And yeah, I basically have a text card and I have the name. Nice way to get something that looks really cool. And as you just saw, I also made a pattern optimization matrix. Now I've never used it before, so let's try it out. Let's try to make 256 optical mainframes. And now there should be a button here that I can click, optimize patterns. And I can put in max steps per craft. And using this maximum number of steps, it will multiply out the recipes so that the total number of steps in the craft is less than this number. To be honest, I've never really used this, so I don't know what a good number is, but I see that the larger I make it, the less multiplied out it is, which makes sense. The items in red here are not being multiplied out. It doesn't mean that they're missing. It just means that these pattern sizes are already larger than what this optimization would make. And the ones up here are the ones that are actually multiplied out. So I think 100 or maybe 1,000 steps is probably pretty good, but I could go all the way to 1 step and it would multiply everything out so that all the items required get pushed into their crafting spots in 1 step. I think that's how it works. And it also shows you how many patterns are affected. And you do want to be a little careful with this because you don't want to multiply things out too much, because then when you do a different craft that doesn't need quite so many items, it's going to make a huge batch and you're going to end up waiting a bit longer. Which in the long run for these items doesn't really matter. I'm going to need thousands and thousands of every single one of these things, so I could do this, but yeah, I think I'm not going to click optimize. I just wanted to see this interface to like fully understand what it does. And I think I do, but I'm not going to multiply anything out just yet. Anyway, quick progress update on the Mark V fusion parts. The fusion machine casings, they're called Mark IV, but these are what go into the Mark V compact. These are more than half done. The rest of them are still crafting. I'm waiting for Dragon Blood, and I will be waiting for Dragon Blood for a very long time. Unless I make more Draconic Evolution fusion crafters, which I might. If I do decide to do that, that means more Gaia Guardian fights. And I don't want to do more Gaia Guardian fights, so maybe I should make a Sword of the Cosmos so I can just insta-kill the Gaia Guardian. Problem with this is it needs more more Thaumcraft. More Thaumcraft. No. But this is an insta-kill, so it's probably worth it. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no. Alright. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. Oh, by the way, another minor update before I get onto that stinky Thaumcraft research is now I have UEV wireless energy hatches almost all the way throughout my Kevlar building. I need to make some more, but I've discovered that I can't really replace every hatch. All the multi-amp hatches, for example, I won't be able to replace for a little bit. Pretty soon I will, but right now I'm not able to because every multi-amp wireless energy hatch, I think every single one, no matter what tier, requires Shirobon plates. And Shirobon, I can make this, but I kind of don't want to yet because it's part of UMV. There's nothing really stopping me besides just, doing this quest and unlocking the Shirobon quest and then doing that as well. But yeah, that said, maybe I should do this because my DTPF is a little too fast with my current plasma setup, or compact setup. I'm not able to make the Transcendent Catalyst fast enough to have this going all the time. So yeah, and I don't want to underclock it again. That's kind of stupid. So maybe I should just start making some Shirobon. Is this real? Am I about to enter UMV? I didn't want to do that until at least having the Godforge, but having Shirobon would make things a lot easier for me to get to the Godforge. So I don't know. I'll think about it. In any case, one Draconic Evolution Crafter is not going to cut it. I want to make probably 8, but we'll start with 4. But that means Thaumcraft. Great. Wow. Look at what I'm doing. End of UIV, by the way. I have to make a large blade cast for a Neutronium large sword blade. Besides that, I need to make a few other things. An Edge of the Primordials, which is easily the most annoying part of this. But at the end of the day, it is just an infusion. It needs a Primal Crusher, which is more annoying stuff. I also need a Nano Saber. This is pretty chill because it's a tech weapon, so I like it. The Awakened Icorium Sword, and also a Draconic Staff of Power. This one is also a little bit annoying, surprisingly. The crafting is fine. It's just that I need a Draconic Pickaxe, Shovel, and Sword. And all 3 of those, at the end of the day, are going to need their bound versions. And I have a bound pickaxe and shovel and sword, but I will not have them at the end of this crafting process. And I need them because I actually use them for terraforming. So I have to make another bound pickaxe and bound shovel. And that just sucks. I hate doing binding rituals. Ah, how annoying. Anyway. Whoops. I forgot to put the sword blade in. UIV, by the way. Oh, wow. Look at the speed of this craft. This machine is running at UHV. And it's still going to take almost 20 minutes. That is insane. Oh man, I wasn't recording, but getting these Shards of Creation has opened up this quest for me. This is one of those weird secret quests that I didn't know about in ZPM. Should I make 4 more? They're kind of annoying, but I am very curious. Alright, I will. And I'm also going to submit a Singularity for this one. And a few more things. Alright. Ah, a 0-point module. ZPM. Okay. That was cool, but at this point, this is kind of what do I do with this thing? That was cute, but kind of not worth it for me to do so late. I probably should have done it at CPM. Anyway, back to the Sword of the Cosmos. Alright, nearly done. Now it's just a matter of making these extreme crafting bits, and that's that. Wyvern tools, Draconic tools, Draconic Staff of Power, and finally, Sword of the Cosmos. Alright, let's see if that was worth the effort. Yep, that was worth it. That was super duper worth it. Again. Ah, too easy. By the way, if you're a RuneScape player like me, you probably see these names and you're like, huh? Barrows Brothers? Hell yeah, dude. Barrows Brothers. Alright, let's see what these dice have for me. Okay. Alright, got some more dice. Let's see. Ring of Thor. Ring of Loki. Nice. This is what I wanted. Finally. We'll come back to this, but I am very happy that I got this. What else can I even get from this? I think I'm missing one more thing. Ring of Odin. Okay. And then this last Dice of Fate, I will probably use to make the creative mana tablet, but not today. I should probably also look into what the other Dice of Fate rewards do. I only know about the Ring of Loki. Alright, I have a bunch more Gaia Spirit now, and I am going to make more Draconic Evolution Fusion Crafters, because it is way too slow. This is still going. Unbelievable. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make the creative mana tablet right now, and I'm also going to show you how the Ring of Loki works, because I have now thought of the perfect use case for it. The mana tablet is actually pretty easy to make. There's a lot of stuff here, but most of it is pretty easy to get. There's Gaia Spirit ingots, there's Shimmer Rock, which I can get from Living Rock and Bifrost blocks. And Bifrost I can get from using Alpha Glass with a Rod of the Bifrost, and the rod can just be crafted with some Elven trading stuff. Infinity Plates, the Shard of Laputa. This is probably the most annoying part. Surprise, surprise. Thaumcraft and Fusion. Blocks of Mana Steel, a bunch of runes, Mana Pearl, Mana Diamond, a Charm of the Diva. This is kind of easy. I need a Rune of Pride, which is pretty straightforward, and a Tiny Planet, which is even more straightforward. I need a Dice of Fate, which I have, and a Black Hole Talisman. This is also pretty simple. It needs an Ender Air bottle, which I can get from right-clicking a glass bottle while in the end, so pretty simple. And all that into a dire crafting table gives me the mana tablet. And I need this for the Ring of Loki because using the Ring of Loki uses mana. So having an infinite amount of mana would be pretty handy. Alright, creative mana tablet. Botania is solved. Finally. Surprised that there's no quest about this. Okay, let's see if I understand how this Ring of Loki works. So I've bound the keys. I have some extra buttons on my keyboard, so that's what I'm using. One of them is to clear the Ring of Loki selection, which is pretty self-explanatory. And the other is the switch key, so to turn it on. Press the switch key, I get a little thing on the bottom that says Ring of Loki on. And now, I think how this works is I shift right click this, and then I shift right click more blocks, whichever ones I want to be able to interact with. Now that I have all these blocks selected, what I can do with the Vajra is I can turn on Silk Touch mode. And if I shift right click this bit block, all of these should break as well. And now, with these crafting input proxies, for example, I can shift right click, and it places them in all but one. I don't know why I didn't place it at this top location. I can even left click this crafting input bus and right click this crafting input proxy, and it links it to all of the selected spots. Now earlier I said I have the perfect use case for the Ring of Loki, and it is right here. So I'm gonna go select all of these energy hatches, break them all in one go, and place wireless ones all in one go. It's gonna be awesome. Actually, I've even slightly underestimated the power of the Ring of Loki, because now that I have all these controllers selected, it's not actually just these blocks that are selected, but these are kind of the anchors for where things happen, if that makes sense. So anything that happens to a block relative to this position will happen to all blocks relative to all of these selected positions. So for example, I have all the controllers selected. So if I go to the back of this main one and I break this UHV energy hatch, or I try to, like this, then it breaks it for all of them. Again, I do have to be pretty careful with how I use this, because I don't want to unintentionally break stuff that I don't mean to break. That's what unintentional means. But yeah, so I need to be a little careful, but this does make things much, much easier. Done. So good. So freaking good. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will continue on the journey to a Mark V compact fusion reactor. Along the way, we will also craft the first Tier 2 QFT, since that will allow us to get around having to fix the currently broken monazite line. See you next time.